Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming in this beautiful residence of the ambassador with the very Dutch weather. Joop, thank you very much for the two kind words. I will try to keep it to 5 to 10 minutes. I'll do the easy stuff, strategy and what's going on in the World Bank. And Dan will do the difficult stuff, also the new procurement rules, and where's the money? Where's the money? Because my interpretation is that we will not go into, let's say, long stories about what's going on in the World Bank, but much more, how can you win tenders, or how can you find finance? And let me start with the conclusions. Go local. So the real money is not in DC. The real money is in the countries where we work. But of course, there's a need to understand the political economy of DC, and in particular of 1818H Street. I think there are 4 important developments going on in the World Bank from a private sector perspective. The first one is that procurement review in the end will result into, let's say, better access for not only for low price but for higher quality. But it's very technical, and we get there. But that's the direction. Second one is that IFC, our private sector arm, is really growing, and I think is an important vehicle for emerging market financing, debt and equity. And I think IFC should grow even faster than we're doing right now. And we're also working with some large multinationals, Dutch multinationals, with IFC. Third one is that also on that we have a lot of innovative financial instruments, financial market instruments. I just came out of the board and we did it's a protection. So we are lending IBRD money to Uruguay, and they're using it to set up a fund which protects against drought and of energy prices. So actually, I didn't understand the structure. We said yes, but it combines. I think it's the best. It brings together the best elements of the bank. So also in the middle and higher income countries, we continue to work and provide knowledge. The fourth element, so procurement, IFC, financial markets, and the fourth one is that we're stepping up our activities again in infrastructure. We're setting up the Global Infrastructure Facility, which brings together, let's say, institutional money into infrastructure investments in emerging markets. End of January, I'll be with the group CFO, Bertrand Badre, on what I call a financial roadshow in the Netherlands, so to PGGM and EBG, but also to the large banks, but and by the way also to some of the smaller banks, to see whether they're interested in playing a role on the one hand on the treasury of the World Bank, and also in distribution of treasury products, and also, let's say, into investing into the global infrastructure facility. So there are a lot of angles in the bank where I think are opportunities. Dan has the 3 C's: complexity, country engagement, and the third one was competitiveness. Yes. So the bank is complex. The 3 C's. We're complex, but that means also that the embassy and also, by the way, staff of World Bank, who's present here, and the ED officers are also there to guide you through the bureaucracy. So there's complexity. The second one is go local, so that's the country focus. And the third one, it's indeed tough to win projects or to get consultancy assignments, because it's a truly global competitive market. But I'm convinced that a lot of Dutch companies, knowledge institutes, have a lot to offer, and I would like to increase our market share. This is we started 70 years ago. We're 70 years old now, and as you see, also fortunately the diversity of the World Bank board changed a bit. When Jim Kim started his presidency, he said, why do we have a World Bank? And that's actually a very good question. And in the end, we as the bank, but also all our governors, all our shareholders said, okay, the two most important goals are why do we have a World Bank? To end extreme poverty by 2030 and to promote shared prosperity. And both are in detail measured by Jos Verbeek, who's publishing data on it every year. Do we make progress on these twin goals? But in the end, everything we do. So if it's working with Heineken in Myanmar, or with Unilever in Indonesia, we can only do it if we can convince our board, our governors, that it adds to ending extreme poverty or boosting shared prosperity. There has to be additionality to, let's say, normal market practice. For those who don't know the World Bank, well, I always like to show this picture because it shows the 4 pillars of the bank. That we started with the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, let's say lending to the old Europe after the war and also to middle income countries. In the 60s we created IDA. IDA is lending at very low rates based on the donor contribution we get to the lowest income countries. These first 2 angles, it's lending of the World Bank to countries. IFC is lending and investing into the private sector. And MIGA on top of that is giving non-commercial risks insurance. In terms of size, IBRD is roughly 20 billion a year, IDA is roughly 20 billion a year, IFC is the biggest, it's 22 billion a year, and out of these 3 pillars of the lending, 2/3 of it is self-fulfilling. So we make a return on our IBRD lending and we make a return on our IFC lending, and the return we're making we'll put into the IDA lending, which is the highly subsidized lending. But let's say the overall, sustainability of the financial sustainability of the World Bank Group is therefore very sound because we have 2 of the 3 engines. We don't need donor contributions, even more so. 2 of the 3 engines, the return we're making on the lending portfolio is also invested into IDA. What's the role of an ED? Nobody ever told me, so this I made it up myself. But that's also how I try to spend my time. 3 pillars. I'm a non-executive board member, but since we're a resident board, we have board meetings every Tuesday, every Thursday. Committees. Actually, this morning I was elected as chair of the audit committee, which is a big honor and a big responsibility. But that's the fiduciary responsibility. It's the oversight of management and have to make sure that they don't screw. No, there's camera on. That they don't mess up the bank. Second part of the pillar, and that's something I really like a lot, is I represent 13 countries. 10 of them are borrowing countries. 3 of them, Netherlands, Cyprus and Israel, are non-borrowing countries, and the Netherlands of course is still one of the biggest donors of the World Bank group. But 10 of them are borrowing, and also some very complex countries. Don't have to mention Ukraine, but also Georgia, Moldova, where we recently had elections yesterday. Actually, in 7 out of the 13, there's some form of conflict or violence or fragility. I often say that fragile countries is Africa. Well, unfortunately, that's not only the case in Africa. And the third part of the job is the convening power or business development. We're really here to help you to expand, let's say, the group of friends of the World Bank. I'm convinced that if we do more business also with Dutch multinationals, that that's good for the World Bank Group. Unilever has, I think, $1.5 billion clients, customers every day, $1.5 billion. So they know a lot. They really know what's going on in the world. So they can bring a lot of knowledge to the World Bank Group. We can really learn from the private sector. And the other way around, if the private sector is happy with the way the World Bank is boosting shared prosperity and ending poverty, I think that also supports the mission of, let's say, development cooperation worldwide. Just some other figures on the World Bank. 16,000 staff, 12,000 IBRD, 4,000 IFC. Majority is on term contracts. I would like to rebalance that a bit. 145 country offices. And this is actually also for consultants a frightening figure. So we have 16,000 staff, but we also have 4,000 FTE available as consultants. And 18,000 people are working on those 4,000 FTE, because some are doing one day a year, some are doing more. But that also means that that's actually why there's a lot of competition also on our fees. When I was responsible for Heemskerk, for the water division, we said, forget the crap, we're not going to tender on go for the World Bank contracts anymore, because it's too much, because the transaction costs are too high, chance of winning is low, and the fees are very, 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 very competitive. But of course, you all have to make your own call in this respect. New structure of the bank. We're still on the bank side, so this is the lending to the governments. 6 regions, and on top of that, global practices. 14 global practices, and the sheets will be distributed afterwards as well. And we've linked these 14 global practices of the World Bank to the 9 top sectors in the Netherlands. Number 10 was, I think, is headquarters. That's a bit difficult to compete on, but you see there's a clear link between these 14 global practices and especially these 9. And for example, in water, which is headed by Global Director Junaid Almat, the Netherlands has signed up a truly intense partnership the next 5 years to shape that new global practice water, and also to bring some of the Dutch approach and some of the Dutch knowledge on water solutions into our global practice water. Next to the 14 global practices, we have 5 cross-cutting solution areas, issues which are relevant actually in any country where you work. They have dealing with climate, fertility, gender, jobs, public-private partnerships. These are the numbers of the pillars, where you see that IBRD almost 20 billion. IDA was a very strong year. It was a little over 20 billion last year. IFC around 20 billion. This is the makeup of or the distribution of our lending to governments towards the various regions. And this is by country, where you see, for example, that of the countries I may represent, 2 of them are in the top 5 for IBRD, which actually makes the position of our constituency relatively strong. We're not only a strong donor, we're also a significant borrower. And now, before you go, I want to show, yes, this is my final sheet. Products we offer, so funding for companies, corporate procurement, where Dan will go into detail a bit more. World Bank financed projects, so the output and the real volume is downstream, but of course upstream at head office and consultancy work, we also have a lot of opportunities. And maybe finally also something we just discussed in the car as well. When I worked for Heemskerk, we did, we worked in Azerbaijan, we did the Port of Baku, and actually we didn't look too much into detail of the knowledge which is available for free by the World Bank. All our, let's say, country analysis, but also if we work on, if we want to strengthen specific sectors in a country, it obviously also has spin-off. So please make use of World Bank research policy papers, all available as well. and then I'll say, we'll go back and go to the movie, and then
Yeah.
Daan is the floor. Thank you.